My position is that I am not a candidate. Attacking my personality or attacking me personally is insignificant. What is important is that it is my view is correct, and anybody doubts it, he can argue it, and that's what democracy is all about. My position is one: the credentials, he has got the minimum. He qualifies. Minimum MDD. That's a fact. But the minimum does not mean that you go with the minimum. Let's look at the credentials in terms of experience. Experience is the most important. He has got 2 years experience in parliament. And that experience of 2 years in governance is not enough to run this country. Number 3, when you look at his experience before he entered parliament, in terms of public governance, public administration, it is wanting. As a voter, these are questions you ask. These are fundamentals you ask. And you'll see that United States has asked questions about Donald Trump, his medicals, his tax credentials, his academic credentials, his military credentials, his personal credentials as a person, and so on and so forth. This is what you take and the questions you ask when you are hiring. We, under Article 1, are the people who vote, and power belongs to the people of Uganda. I have 1 vote, and there are many other people that I influence. I would like to know the credentials of everybody. And that is a logical and reasonable question. It is fair. I am not being unfair. If we don't ask questions now, who will ask the questions? Should it be the Americans to ask those questions for us? Should it be the Ugandans to ask those? Shouldn't it be the Ugandans to ask those questions for us? What I'm asking, and this is when I look in the camera and tell the people of Uganda, the test of democracy is very clearly indicated. The test of the pudding is in the eating. When you want to enter the kitchen of managing the country, managing the affairs of 46 million people, they ask hard questions. Ugandans are asking soft questions. When I raise the issue, and now it is causing a multiple response, not only locally but globally, let them inspect themselves. The questions I'm asking are genuine, fundamental, and they are not attacking. I'm not derogating anybody. I am not embarrassing anybody. I'm only trying to say that please show your credentials in order for us to evaluate your position. For me, who is a member of the National Resistance Movement, I have a candidate who is tested. On the military front, he is tested. You have seen that he has been able to bring peace and stability in this country. Number 2, on political economy, he has social economic transformation. You have seen that he has been able to show a fundamental difference in managing the economy from where it was. An economy where we had a runaway inflation at about 179% in 1986. Where you saw that the dam at that time had only 2 turbines, to now over 4 or 5 dams which have been built. These are credentials on the ground. You have seen in terms of foreign policy that Uganda is a country that is now respected globally. It does not mean that we do not have problems. We have problems. We have got young people who need jobs. We have young people who are poor. Corruption is deep in this country. We've got to ensure that the distribution of resources is equitable across the country. These are fundamentals that we must ask. And those of us who are inside want to tell the president and tell government in power, because we superintend and supervise the government as a ruling party. We want to ensure, therefore, in my concluding remarks, that anybody who is aspiring to be a leader in this country must be prepared to answer tough questions. I am asking tough questions. Under General Yoweri Kaguta Museveni is the correct leadership. People are talking about age. Museveni has been in power for 34 years now. Next year, January the 26th, it will be 35 years. What has he done? Brought total peace, having fought 14 major groups which had attempted to overthrow this constitution. He is now 75 years old. A superpower like United States of America has shown the world that country which has got over 244 years in democracy has put aside the issue of age and elected a president who is 78 years old. 78 years old, and left the president who is 75 years old, Donald Trump, and brought in Biden. What does that tell you? If a superior nation, where they have 52 countries, and we have only one country under General Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, with 46 million people, and United States with a population of close to 400 million people, the richest country in the world, the most powerful economy in the world, the most powerful country militarily in the world, can elect and entrust a man who is 78 years to lead them. What are you talking about age? This is a message that the young people get to know. The average leadership in this country, in the world, is over 70 years. The president of Israel is 82 years. The president of China is approaching 70 years. The president of Russia, Putin, is almost 72 years. 70 years. When you look at other presidents in the world, including the president of Nigeria, he's 78 years. What are you talking about when you come to age? President Museveni is at his prime time, having shown the country that he can hold the country together and bring total peace and stability to this country. What we now need is, we are below by about $120 to move into the middle income status, earlier than some countries in the world, in Africa. That shows you that we are in the correct tangent of growth. And when you look at the economy, we have maintained the macroeconomic stability. The fiscal policy is correct. Our debt burden is about 48% on GDP per capita. When you look at, that is the debt equity ratio. When you look at inflation, is about 5%. Our growth as a nation has been at 6% average for the last 20 years. When you talk about the fundamentals of the economy, this is a country that is on the gradient of growth. Fight and ensure that they retain power. And those who are outside fight to make sure that they capture power. This is where the campaign is focused on. And I want to tell you, therefore, that no government will negotiate itself out of power. We would like to make sure that we use all ways and means to retain this power. And this is a political war. It's a political engagement. It's a global trend. You have seen Donald Trump holding ground. You have seen the British holding ground. You have seen the arrangement in, for example, the DRC Congo, where Kabila had to maintain some sort of functional being. It's a global trend in politics. Even in India, the largest democracy in the world, you will see that the party in power wants to ensure that it gets more and more numbers. So what the movement is doing is the correct multi-party dispensation approach. And I want to assure you that we're doing the correct thing. And the national resistance movement sees traditionally in the urban centers, you will see momentum in favor of the opposition. That is normal. And even in, you know that even in the United States, urban centers like New York, if you see Washington, they will always oppose the status quo. So when I see 1,000 people, 2,000 people coming together in Kampala or in any urban center, that's a traditional foothold of the opposition. And this has been shown when Besigye was in, when my brother Bobi Wine or Kyagulanyi goes in of NUP. And for us, we say that is good. We want to enjoy the multi-party dispensation, the framework of seeing that our core value number 4, which is democracy, is entrenched in this country. And we're doing precisely that. Do not forget, from 1962, no direct elections had been carried out until the national resistance movement under the new constitutional dispensation, which was enacted in 1995, October. And you see that from therein, we have had 5 or 6 major campaign sessions or elections, which gives power to the people. The Constitution says very clearly under Article 1 that power belongs to the people, and they'll exercise that right democratically by electing the leaders right from the grassroots to the president. That is the correct pursuit of NRM.
Are you scared?
The people ask you questions, and the question I've asked is not what maybe some people may not have asked those questions. But to my brothers across the spectrum in the political divide, this ideological foundation is the beginning of democracy in this country. We must nurture, grow democracy. These questions that I'm asking are fundamental for the future. This will not be the last election or campaign we're going to carry out as a country. There are many more, hundreds and hundreds when we're long gone. Ugandans must learn to ask relevant and hard questions to those who want to take charge of our taxpayers' money, those who are going to tackle corruption, those who are going to tackle national stability and security of our country, those who are going to tackle the growth of healthcare in this country, those who are going to tackle unemployment and poverty in this country. These are very fundamental questions. I thank you.